Welcome to Cashroom Convos. My name is CJ Mack, and I'm here with my esteemed partner.
I'm Kareem Webb.
What's going on, bro?
Man, you know, it's a lot going on right now. A lot for us to be thinking about. We got the ramifications of the big evil bill hitting us, man. You know, you got folks that are losing their food stamps, man, the Section 8. You got gas prices. It just cost me $150 to fill up my tank. It's war in Iran. It's a lot of things going on, and there's a governor's race in California happening.
And that thing is heating up too, right?
Yes, sir.
And I tell you, man, right now we're not looking like a blue state. We're looking like a distracted state. And I can tell you from experience, when you're distracted, you make mistakes.
I mean, you're absolutely right, man. The primary is June 2nd, and the primary is the whole ball game. So after the primary, in the general election in California is just the paperwork. If we end up with two Republicans, then we're going to end up choosing between two people that are aligned with Trump, and that is not aligned with California values. So the whole game is right now.
So how is it that it can come down to just having two Republicans?
Because in California, it's the top two vote getters. That means everybody runs. I think because it's a supermajority state, and you would always end up with a Democrat and a Republican, but the Democrat would always win. It'd be a landslide. So it's like whoever won the primary on the Democratic side would always, pretty much win. It's been a long time. Governor Schwarzenegger, who was governor before that, Pete Wilson. But California has shifted a lot. The demographics have shifted. So I think what the intent was to make, okay, well, even if the two top vote getters are Democrats, then you got two Democrats, so at least the voters would have a choice come November. Okay. But right now you got 8 Democrats running. And you got most of them are at 3%, 4%, 5%. So you got all these 3, 4, 5% with only 2 Republicans running, and they're running at 12 and 14% or thereabouts in the polls. So there's a chance that both of them could win. And then on the other side, you got Eric Swalwell, who's a Democrat, and recent polls show him about 14%.
Okay, alone. So, but everybody else is, if it only has so many other people running, those numbers could actually be higher. And one of those other guys will get pushed out.
Yes, if Democrats were more coordinated and their supporters were more coordinated and more strategic about their approach here, then a few would sacrifice, get out of the race to make certain that there would be 1 or 2 Democrats who would get more than 14%, but that hasn't happened now. And the time frame to remove yourself from the ballot has passed. So now everybody, all 7, 8 Democrats that are running are all on the ballot. Wow. What's super interesting is, like, we just had a debate that was canceled at USC. There was a lot of controversy because only the 4 white candidates were being invited to the debate. We know that Rick Caruso, who lost a couple of years ago, 2022, versus the mayor after spending $110 million or thereabout, used to be the chair of the Board of Regents at USC. There's some speculation about whether or not he was involved in determining which candidates made it. He's also supporting one of the candidates who's currently the mayor of San Jose, Mahan. So it was Mahan, is Swalwell, Katie Porter, and then you got the billionaire who's known for being heavy on the environmental side, Tom Steyer. You see in his ads a lot. It's reflected in his wealth because he's spending that money to have ads all up and down the state.
So what can the citizens do to prevent this from happening?
Well, first of all, there's a lot of us that are registered to vote. And as was said in the opening, Black and brown people, our vote drops off in the primary. We pay attention in November. Yeah. Like, there's going to be a lot of energy and activity around November, especially with Trump in office and Democrats having the opportunity to take back Congress, et cetera, et cetera. That's going to be very important. Right. But right now in California, we talk about this a lot. It's the 4th largest economy in the world. There is a supermajority of Democrats in the state assembly and in the Senate. And so, we've got values-aligned allies, by and large, that are in control of the state. You really don't want a Trump ally as governor in the state of California to veto and cancel out a lot of what Democrats might want to do around policy that's going to impact our community, especially at a time when we've got to be resilient and we've got to do everything that we can to lessen the impact of all the policies that have come from the federal government. And in our state, and under-resourced people and people of color are certainly under attack by this federal government.
So it's hard to beat money. And if we got a large sums of money behind these candidates, man, that we don't necessarily want, because they're not going to be for the betterment of us as the people, we better get out here and understand what these primaries mean. Because like you said, we drop off. I don't think that the community really knows. I don't think that people know how important primaries are.
Well, yeah, we need the folks in California to understand how important this primary is, because you're going to run up against a deadline. Early May, we put the date on for when's the last day you can register to vote. You can vote from home, so you don't even got to go to the polls. We got mail-in ballots in California, so you're going to get a ballot mailed to your house, vote, and get it in. And the other thing is, man, it's people like you and me and others got to call folks to the mat. You know, we don't have any of the leading candidates that are more than likely, even as a Democrat, to get out of the primary and potentially be going against one of these Republicans in the general election. None of them are from Southern California, so they're all from the Bay or Northern California. And I haven't seen them spend any real time in the parts of LA or Southern California where you and I are invested in the health of those communities and the majority of our allies, both black and brown and otherwise.
Right.
And so, you know, I think there's been a lot of Beverly Hills, Brentwood, West Hollywood, you know, those kinds of meetings. There hasn't been a lot of south of the 10 freeway. Let me see what's going on with you in these communities, where it counts for us. Yeah. Well, we need to make certain that our interest, you know, and our agency and what we want for our communities and ourselves and our ability to accumulate resources and wealth, we got to make certain that people are accountable for us. We want a Democrat in office, but we want a Democrat that's accountable to us, that we have access to, and that has to respond to us while they're in office.
So black and brown people make up over 50% of this state, right?
It's definitely a minority state.
So with all that being said, you mean to tell me there's not one black or Latino or anybody of color running for that we can choose to run for governor?
Listen, man, in general, just like you said, Mac, you know, people aren't really paying attention to this race. Yeah. They're not, because nobody's really excited about any of these candidates. That's the real truth, because if there was excitement, there'd be momentum and somebody would break through. I'm a pretty politically astute dude and pay attention. I'm in the mix politically. Ain't nobody excited about none of these candidates. That's the real truth. I will tell you, I was with Villaraigosa because he's got a history of fighting for things that I think make sense. Sometimes even going against the grain or going against like what's in his political interest because he believes in it. We've seen him do that when he was mayor of LA. Probably cost him the governor's race the last time he was running for governor. Mm-hmm. So I was with him, but he's at 3%. That's the reality of it. There is an African-American dude. There's a brother, Tony Thurman, who used to be the state superintendent. He's at 1 or 2%. There's an Asian lady, Betty Yee. She's at 1 or 2%. So these folks haven't raised enough money to really be competitive. And as candidates, I don't think they're competitive enough, because if they were, they would have broke through. They haven't. So the options are what the options are. But what's on the line is what's on the line. And we don't really have the luxury to wish that something was different than the way it is. Like, we got real issues and real concerns that are on the line. Very, 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 as real as they've ever been, man. We don't know where this AI thing is taking us, how many jobs are going to be lost. And we know that people of color and black people specifically are the most under-resourced as a people. And so this big, beautiful bill that is, you know, stripping the social safety net out of society, man, taking money from the least of these is going to create more desperation. Right. And when you get more desperation, you get less safety.
Oh yeah,
right.
Definitely.
You get less loving environments. You get more despair.
You get crime.
You get all of that.
You got to eat.
You get all of that, and it's going to be experienced where we live and work and love.
Exactly.
And so who the governor is right now matters more in California than it's ever mattered, especially because you got a lunatic in the White House, bro. So we don't have the luxury not to care. We got to call people to the mat. We got to get them to be in agreement, to be accountable to our communities and our issues, and the leaders within our community that we choose to lead on our behalf. And then they got to come to the mat. But the time is right now.
Right. So when you're saying that there's not many credible candidates, right? Is it just because they don't have the exposure?
No, I think that communication, political talent, is less about policy in 2026 than it is about the ability to communicate.
Okay.
It's about having good teams, socials, and all of that stuff. The way that, our attention is split in a million trillion different ways all day long. We know that. But there's a reason why AOC breaks through. There's a reason why Tellerico of Texas has broken through. There's a reason why Jasmine Crockett has got the national exposure. It's called talent. And if you don't have communications talent, if you can't cut through and say things that resonate with people or get people to want to pay attention, then you ain't got the talent, bro. And there's a lot of folks that don't have that kind of talent here in California right now, but there are some that are more aligned with our interests and some that are diabolically opposed to our best interests. And right now, we cannot be apathetic. We cannot not care. We cannot not pay attention. We cannot not vote, Mac.
Right. No, I get it. The only thing that's kind of like confusing to me is, but we can't just vote for someone for the sake of voting for them, right? Yeah. We need competent people running.
We need competent people, and whether or not, they're competent, they got to be somewhat values aligned, and they got to be accountable.
Right.
Right. And what accountability looks like to me is bring your ass south of the 10 freeway and come sit down with some people.
Exactly.
When, they not necessarily writing a check, and demonstrate that you care about what's happening with people in our community.
A message.
Yeah.
Message. That's a cash room convo message to you. You candidates that are trying to run, if you're not visible, how can we choose you? How can we see you? We don't even know what you're about. You got to come on this side of the freeway, man. You know what I mean? It's just, we don't want to get stuck, like you say, with somebody that don't have the same values aligned with ours, and then it's going to get worse because it's already bad.
Well, what we don't want is we don't want our vote taken for granted.
Right.
Like we so don't want this Republican or this Trump ally person that we're going to vote for you and you don't have to earn our vote or you don't have to respond to us. That's an unfair, unreasonable ask. Come down here, do what you would do for any other constituency, earn our vote, make promises that we can hold you accountable to that are consistent with our interests.
And to the citizens, we have a responsibility as well. You got to get up, man. Tell a friend. If you know about the primaries, you understand how important they are, tell your friend, get them up, drag them to the polls, and make them go vote, because it's your future that's at jeopardy if you don't.
Listen, man, the folks that right now had a majority of the resources count on our apathy. They count on us not to care. They count on us to be so depressed and so frustrated with our reality that it would make us think that we don't deserve a different reality and that we're not willing to participate in order to make it happen. And that's what we have to show them, that they're wrong about that we will participate, we'll show up and vote, and we'll hold these people to account, and we can be aligned and coordinated in our own interests.
Look, I didn't grow up understanding the importance of voting. I was in the streets, I didn't think it affected me, and I didn't care until I started losing people, when it started affecting people that I grew up with the 3-strike law, for example. That just went right over my head, and I didn't even try to do anything about it, nor did a bunch of other people in the community until it hit home, and then they understood what it was. So politics is always something that's sold to us as things that happen to us. This time we get to decide if that's still true. So let's see what happens.
You're absolutely right, Mac. And I feel you, man. And I appreciate that you're really paying attention and in this with us, man, because we need everybody rocking with us right now. So ultimately, all of us are way more important than just our vote. We are the reason that California is even worth governing.
All right, get out there and vote, man. Get off your ass and hit the polls, man. Your future depends on it. Thank you for listening to Cash Room Conversations. Once again, I'm CJ Mack.
And I'm Kareem Webb, where it pays to listen if you pay attention.
So pay attention. Go vote.